Heisenberg! Like I have said before, I usually pick my shirts off the top, and I've been thinking about recording this video, but I haven't been able to figure out what I should record a video about. So I felt like this was a rather appropriate topic to do a video on. Technically, the week that this video comes out, the video that is coming out on Friday was recorded a couple days ago, according to my current timeline. But I have wanted to record a shedding tears video for a while now, because I haven't done one in a while. And this is a topic that is going to be very disappointing, I'm sure, for a lot of people, because unfortunately, though I used to lift, I have not lifted weights in a long while. And in general, I just haven't exercised since earlier this year.
You might think you lift, but do you even?
Anyone who's kind of caught up with the lore as to how and why I have recorded videos and been so consistent with their releases probably can logically deduce why that is. But today I want to talk about working out. So let's just get right into it so I can stop screwing around with my OBS layout and my phone making random noises and a bunch of other shit. I have not rehearsed this at all, so I'm just gonna go off of memory and whatever emotion is currently flowing through my brain at the moment that I record that particular section. Well, the tears should be rather self-explanatory. If you have not watched Bro Science Life, you probably should do that, because you'll probably get most of these jokes if you do that. Otherwise, you'll probably be a little bit in the dark. But shoulder flies, I do not remember the reason why I did these. For some reason, I feel like this is a holdover from when I had to go to physical therapy for my multiple sclerosis, but I pretty much only ever did these out of routine, which is what I'm going to put in the natty category, which is basically equivalent to the C/mediocre category. I will try to rank these from left to right, but like I said, it's been a little bit since I've actually worked out on the regular. So dumbbell squats, those were definitely a holdover from when I went to physical therapy for my multiple sclerosis. Honestly, there was something satisfying about doing squats. Due to my multiple sclerosis, I could not do many of the traditional leg exercises like deadlifts, stiff back, or otherwise. I'm gonna say dumbbell squats were shotgun sound effect A tier, and I know that's kind of sacrilegious considering that they are a leg exercise ostensibly, but it always made me feel good, and I did these twice a week, kind of to mimic the schedule that I had with going to physical therapy for as brief of a period of time as I did that. If you have multiple sclerosis, dumbbell squats are good, but obviously I will not advise you to do any particular weight other than what you are comfortable doing. Okay, now single leg balance with 4-way toe taps. This is definitely an exercise that is only in my repertoire because of my multiple sclerosis physical therapy regimen. Believe it or not, I actually had a lot of fun doing the physical therapy because that was what I did before I started going to the YMCA on the regular. And so when I started going to the YMCA twice a week, I would do that regimen, and because balance is one of my key issues regarding my multiple sclerosis, I tried to keep up the habit of doing the toe tap exercise. So much so, I'm gonna put it above dumbbell squats. Not because it is a physically rigorous exercise, but just because it helped with my balance, and honestly, it was not physically rigorous, and due to the multiple sclerosis, I tried not to run the risk of overheating and overexhausting myself during my exercise regimen, and I worked out pretty much every day after getting off of work, so you'll probably see a few more exercises of that sort kind of peppered throughout this tier list, because due to my physical disability, I was not capable of doing some of the more bro exercises. Okay, now this one, ab wheel rollout. I'm gonna put it in natty, but I'm gonna put it above the shoulder flies. And the only reason for that is, much like electronic arts with microtransactions, I felt a great sense of pride and accomplishment when I was finally able to accomplish a full ab rollout, and then of course following that, being able to do a full set of 8 full push outs with the ab wheel. I did not exactly have fun while doing them, And I certainly do not have fun doing these tier lists because it highlights the categories every single time. But just for the sense of pride and accomplishment that I got from doing them, I'm going to put the ab wheel rollouts above the shoulder flies. Next, we have the Bosu bench leg raises. I'm going to throw that one into superset. Between these and the ab wheel rollout, it should become clear that I was desperate and trying so hard to get abs. And quite frankly, the reason I was trying to get abs is partially due to one of the jokes made in one of the Bro Science Life videos.
Abs are the only muscle girls know. The basic chicks, all you need is abs to have a good body.
The reason I put these into superset is that these are the first exercise that I was able to add leg weights to. I had walked laps around my parents' house and property with ankle weights on in the past before I did weighted leg raises, but it felt so good when I took off my weights one time, I think because I had forgotten them in the car, and I did these leg raises without the weights, and one of the guys that was in the gym was like, yeah, you basically almost did a backflip off of that. So I put that in superset because it made me feel good. All right, next up, this isn't really an exercise so much as it is a stretch, but I'm basically just ranking everything in this tier list that I did while in the gym. Cobra stretches are going into shotgun sound effect A tier, and the only reason for that is because they were so easy and they just felt good to do. I also did them at the end of my ab exercise regimen, which I did every day, and that also included regular use of dumbbell side dangles, and those probably are going at the top of natty right now. They were a little bit frustrating to do on account of the motion, but if you held a gun to my head and said you either have to do ab wheel rollouts or dumbbell side dangles, which I know is not the scientific accurate term for whatever this exercise is, I'd probably pick the side dangles. And for the record, what I mean by the side dangle is exercises like this, where I would do this over and over again, and then obviously I would switch arms halfway through, and then I would do... My form is probably horrible because I haven't done these in a while, and I'm trying to record a video, but hopefully you guys see what I meant with that. I think those really target like your... I could be getting the muscle name mixed up for that, so don't kill me if that is incorrect. Okay, next up we have suitcase crunches, which are technically an ab exercise, but let me use this as an opportunity to kind of fill you guys in on my multiple sclerosis. Laying down is definitely not great because it really affects the balance center of your brain, and so I can't like look straight up in the air for a long period of time and then just immediately smack my head back down and continue doing whatever I was doing like a normal person. So the fact that I kind of had to get on my back in order to do ab suitcase crunches knocks them down tremendously. I'm not going to put it all the way at the bottom in Bradley Martin tier. For the record, I am not mocking Bradley Martin. The guy is clearly very talented, but that was the running gag on Bro Science Life.
Stiff leg deadlifts. If you're Bradley Martin, every day is getting the butt day.
So, I mean, no offense, Brad. 'Tis but a joke. Next up, planks. Hopelessly mid. Not really a whole lot to be said about them. Ab crunch machine. I'll put it above the suitcase crunches just because I would rather do them on account of the inherent lack of problems caused by my balance. But I really never look forward to doing ab crunches on the machine. Okay, this is a bit of a strange one. This is the leg press machine, but doing calves in specific. These were one of my favorites. Not super exciting in terms of accomplishment, but this was pretty much one of the last exercises that I did every single leg day that I had, so it was like, finally I am free. Plus, I don't know, there's something really satisfying about working out calves because I never really noticed much of a difference, which either means that I just was not lifting enough weight, or I must just have naturally well-defined calves. Chest press machine. I want to put these above the ab wheel rollout just because I feel like the chest press machine at an incline was rather hit or miss. Some days I really liked it, some days I didn't. Also, you would have to oftentimes deal with this machine being very popular, and so a lot of times I would go in for chest day and that would be one of my first exercises and someone was always on the machine, whereas there were always dumbbells
press a dumbbell.
And even if I had to go down slightly in weight in order to do the exercise, at least I was doing an exercise, whereas the chest press machine, there basically was no other way to do that exercise other than that particular machine. Okay, dumbbell bench press. Because of my multiple sclerosis, I have to put those into natty. I don't hate dumbbell bench press. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it up. You know what? I'm gonna move it all the way up. Actually, you know what? It's going into shotgun. The only reason it's not in superset is because of my multiple sclerosis. So let that be known right off the bat. Part of the reason it was so hard to pick a spot for that particular exercise is explicitly because of the fact that when I lay on my back, my balance gets out of whack due to the multiple sclerosis. You'll notice, well, we'll get to it in a second, but there is another similar exercise that I am not going to rank particularly highly due to the presence of my multiple sclerosis condition. Okay, the Pectoral Fly Machine. I'm gonna drop that one here only because due to the fact that I am seated while doing that particular exercise, I don't have to worry about my balance at all. Putting the pins in the machine in the exact right spots is a little bit annoying, but for the satisfaction that is welled up within me due to working out chest, I have to put this one at the top of this tier. Oh, I have two of the same icon here. We're just gonna skip that one. Alright, barbell bench press. Regular gym bros who have no physical defects are going to hate me for this, but this list is my personal list and does not represent the attitudes and opinions of regular gym goers. I am just a person with multiple sclerosis, and part of that involves balance issues, and as a result, I have to put barbell bench press at the very bottom, and that hurts because before I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was able to work out for several months without any balance issues, and I loved doing bench press with a barbell during that time period, but once I got diagnosed, I basically found out that that was forever going to be taken away from me. So normally, if I was ranking these based on my desire to do them, bench press with a barbell would be at the very top, but I can't do that because my physical condition does not permit me to do that exercise. So if you were a little weirded out when I put dumbbell bench press into shotgun / A tier, but I'm putting dumbbell in Bradley Martin / bottom tier, maybe that will explain why I do not do that because I want to. I do that because I physically am not capable of doing it the way that I used to. And the last time that I tried to do it, I put on less weight than I thought I needed to, just on account of the fact that my balance was a little whacked out, and I almost killed myself. And you'll never see this video, and I'm not going to use his actual name, but the Terror of Demons saved me. It was a guy in the gym, and his name relates to that mock title that I just gave him. That was a nickname that I used for him. Okay, push-ups until no more can be completed, which is basically just doing push-ups repeatedly until you burn out. I'm gonna be honest, I never really liked doing push-ups to this extent and to this degree. They didn't really bother my balance issues so much, but they were just repetitive, and I felt like I reached a plateau as far as the number that I could complete, and I never really got past that. So it's rather fitting that I placed that exercise in the do you even lift category, because I'm sure all the gym bros in the comments will mock me for the fact that I ranked push-ups so low. Okay, now here are the fun ones, because these are the ones I really like. I'm going to rank these out of order. I really like pull-ups. Of everything that we have covered in this tier list so far, pull-ups are my favorite. Plus, it must be noted that by the time I kind of finished working out several months back, I was doing weighted pull-ups on that machine. So not only did I get to experience the sense of pride and accomplishment that came with no longer having to use the weighted assist to do them in the first place, but I started using ankle weights to increase my own weight so that it would be more difficult to do pull-ups. And as Don Massetti says,
weighted pull-ups is like saying, I'm too strong for my own body.
But at the same time, I must say, I find chin-ups to be far more fun. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, take back everything I just said. Everything I just said about pull-ups, I actually said about chin-ups. Pull-ups to me are the most alpha exercise that I can do, and do well. I'm sure a lot of this has to do with the fact that balance is a major factor in my kind of appraisal of where I rank an exercise. If it weren't for the fact that I have multiple sclerosis and my balance affects which exercises I do and do not enjoy, they might not be at the top, but due to my personal situation and circumstances, to me, pull-ups are the best. Okay, lateral pull-down machine. The YMCA that I went to, they had the lat pull-down machine, or whatever could be best described as the lat pull-down machine, right next to the Pectoral Fly Machine. The question is, do I want to put it... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it up here. It never really reached the level of personal satisfaction that I reached with the Bosu bench leg raises, but it's more impressive physically than the leg press machine calves exercise, so that's why it goes where it goes. Kneeling dumbbell rows. I'm gonna sandwich those right between pull-ups and chin-ups. Pull-ups are still the king at the moment, but for some reason lawnmower dumbbell rows were always just really satisfying for me, and I think right before I moved and had to stop working out on the regular, I went up like 5 pounds in terms of the dumbbells that I was rowing. This is a case where the personal satisfaction that I got from this particular exercise really bolstered where I rank them. Okay, seated leg press. I know the calves are up here, but due to the fact that they are a leg exercise, I'm going to plop them down into do you even lift tier. They weren't super duper hard, but I always hated having to like adjust the angle of the seat and how far back it had to be, and I'm pretty sure the machine for this broke at the gym that I went to on the regular before I moved, so it was just a pain in the neck. Whether you like leg exercise day or not, it was just a hassle that I never really liked dealing with. So seated leg extensions, now these are not that bad. I'm actually gonna say it, I would probably rather do these than pretty much anything other than the dumbbell side dangles. Leg day was always my least favorite day to hit in terms of muscles, and to be quite honest, I do not remember which other muscle group I paired with leg day because I tried to split each day between 2 muscle groups, but leg day always just bothered me, and leg extensions were kind of a reprieve from the tedium and frustration of leg day. So all of the strictly leg exercises, of them, leg extensions on the leg extension machine was probably my favorite leg exercise, obviously ignoring the leg press machine using my calves. Shoulder press machine. This one is going to get ballooned in placement a little bit based on the fact that at the YMCA that I used, this machine was always close to the entrance to the gym, and I had a lot of friends that would work out on the regular in that gym, and so I would usually get to see my friends literally just as they came in, and I would say hi and we would have a brief conversation in between my sets. So the exercise itself is just kind of but due to my personal level of experience with this exercise, I'm probably going to rank it maybe higher than most people would. Also, I do feel like I accomplished a decent amount during my time lifting with the shoulder press machine. I'd prefer to do them over pretty much everything that is currently listed under them in the tier list at the moment. Dumbbell shrugs. This is a shoulder exercise. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I actually really like dumbbell shrugs. They never really made me feel accomplished, so I'll put them there. Close grip upright barbell press. This is another shoulder exercise. I'm not gonna put them all the way at the tippy top, but I like doing these. I think I like doing them more than the shoulder press machine, and I think that's just generally the case that free weights tend to be more entertaining than machines, with some exceptions obviously. Dips are going all the way at the top underneath pull-ups, just because I like the pull-up exercise that much. Again, I managed to do these weighted by the time I moved, so there was a real sense of accomplishment when I started doing dips with more weight than my own body weight.
It doesn't get much more alpha than this. You are adding weight to your body by a chain hanging from your to do an exercise that people can't do with the weight hanging from their bones.
And when I tried to do dips after that without those weights, I was like, man, this is so easy. I am not looking forward to whenever eventually I get back to going to the gym on a regular basis, because they say no pain, no gain. Well, I've lost a lot of those gains, and that's going to hurt me. Okay, now we get to the tricep stuff. Tricep pull downs with the ropes. These are fun, but the thing is, I'm going to use a little bit of my personal bias to dock them points, because I could never figure out what I was supposed to do with the form. I'd probably rather do them than pretty much all of the other shoulder exercises, and because I wouldn't have to lay down and worry about my balance, I'd probably put them above dumbbell bench press, and I would prefer them over the pectoral flies. So, due to all the frustration that I had to endure while trying to figure out the form and the weight as a result of doing these, they can't go all the way into superset, but I would like to be able to put them into superset. They were just frustrating on a personal level. Now, on the other hand, doing tricep pull downs with the straight metal V-bar is actually going to go, well, where do I put it in relation to all these guys? I'm going to put these pull downs underneath the lawnmower dumbbell rows. It's kind of funny if you look at it right now, a lot of exercises are in superset and it just decreases in number as we go down. I just always found the straight metal V-bar to be a lot more comfortable and frankly a lot easier than the double ropes, which I would honestly prefer to be really good at, but at the same time the ropes were also a very commonly used piece of that machine. So if you wanted to do tricep pull downs more often than not, you wouldn't be able to get your hands on the ropes. You'd have to go with the bar. Oh boy, this one's a mouthful. Standing dumbbell overhead tricep extensions. These ones are fun. They're not as personally satisfying to me as the pull downs, even with all of the frustration factored in. But for some reason, I always got more enjoyment out of doing them than the pectoral flies. So, oh boy. If it weren't for the fact that barbell bench press almost killed me once, tricep extensions would be at the bottom, the ones using the machine. But for the mere fact that tricep extensions were just painful physically and were a hassle that I did not want to do every single tricep day, but they were not, you know, potentially hazardous to my life, they go above the bench press with a barbell. But okay, here's a weird one. Preacher curls. I never did preacher curls at the gym that I was at before I moved. When I got my first job out of college, I did do these at that gym, but I haven't done them in a long time. To me, they're fine. They always felt a little bit awkward. Just for the fact that they're biceps, I think I'm going to leave them above the chest press machine. And, you know, they're biceps. So, just for the mere fact that it is a bicep exercise, it goes pretty high up. Okay, this one's a no-brainer. You can even see who I put in the icon. Bicep curls with dumbbells, as demonstrated in the image by Dom Massetti, the Brofessor, are the best. If it weren't for the fact that my life has been very, very, very hectic and very chaotic and kind of strange since March of 2024, I would do these on the regular more often. But the simple fact is, I just haven't gotten around to it. Now, bicep curls with a barbell, I'm actually going to drop these guys. Pretty much everything that is currently in superset tier is very satisfying and pretty much non-awkward. I don't know why, but it doesn't feel right to do bicep curls with a barbell. Feel more at home doing bicep curls with dumbbells. Just for the mere fact that it is a bicep exercise, I'm going to put it at the top of shotgun sound effect A tier, directly, ironically, beneath dumbbell curls. But I don't know, I never really just got a feeling of satisfaction from this exercise. Hammer curls. Okay, hammer curls are one of those exercises that I constantly got told by other gym guys that I was doing wrong and I needed to adjust my technique. So just for the mere fact that this frustrated the absolute hell out of me, I'm going to put it rather low. The thing is, tricep pull downs with the ropes I usually got a lot less flack for doing those wrong than I did for doing hammer curls wrong. So just for that, I'm going to put them below everything in that tier except for the Cobra Stretch. I don't like being told what to do unless it's for a place of employment, in which case I like being told what to do.
Why did you put that weapon together so quickly, Gump?
You tell me to, Drill Sergeant.
Okay, wrist curls, they are similar to the leg press calves exercise, but they deal with arms, so I'm gonna put them above calves, but below shrugs, and the only reason for that is I felt far more impressed with the weight that I was capable of shrugging compared to the weight that I would wrist curl. And for the record, Professor Dom, the only reason I ever started doing wrist curls was because of you, so...
By the time you're home, your forearms are gonna be spent. So make sure to do a couple of wrist curls.
Okay, running on the treadmill. Despite the fact that barbell bench press nearly killed me, I at least got to know one of the gym goers as a consequence for it. Treadmill running goes to the bottom specifically because I was told that there was a certain metric which I should try to pass with regards to running a mile, and I almost got there crossing that barrier. I have mentioned Fonderland Studios a number of times in past videos. He's the one that got me into working out on the regular at my first job. He was the one that gave me the metric for an optimal / a good goal to reach for running on a treadmill, and literally the week that I started feeling the symptoms of my multiple sclerosis is when I had to stop running for that reason, because I cannot run because of my multiple sclerosis. I basically turn into a rampaging 28 days later kind of zombie in terms of body movement and coordination. So barbell bench press may have gotten within a hair's breadth of killing me, but running on a treadmill did something far more egregious, and that was the PR for it got stolen from me due to the natural consequences of my physical condition. Now, partially as a consequence of that, swimming goes all the way to the top. Because swimming replaced treadmill running for me, it was far less stressful on my body. I got to know far more people, and I gained a lot more friends through swimming regularly at the Y. If you have not watched it, please watch my recommendation film review of the movie Samaritan, because Marv, one of the gentlemen that would swim in the pool in the evenings alongside me, recommended me that movie, and I miss swimming so very much. One of the ladies who ran a lot of the swim classes at that Y, you know who you are, she always asks me whenever I get into contact with her, have you been swimming lately? And it kills me inside every single time that I have to say that I have not been swimming in months. If nothing else happens in the near future, I hope that I can start swimming again on the regular. And no, this is not, water aerobics, 70, 80-year-old women kind of swim class sort of swimming. I'm talking Olympic swimming pool, swimming laps kind of a thing. By the time I moved, I was swimming 16 laps every single day for about 45 minutes to an hour at that Y that I regularly attended. Pretty much knew all the names of all of the lifeguards and was rather friendly with most of them. I even knew some of the ones that did the wee hours of the morning shift. I know none of them will ever see this video, but I miss all of them dearly. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will be able to regularly go to that Y and swim again. But you can probably tell from all of the things that I am saying that swimming holds a lot of value to me personally, even outside of the exercise itself. So as a result, I have to put it at the top, even over the almighty dumbbell curl. Okay, here are a couple of exercises that I have not done in a while. Wood chopping / oblique cable twists. I was never really a huge fan of these. I mean, I would rather do them than the leg press, but I never really enjoyed doing these. It was kind of like a filler move, like a filler exercise just to kind of bide my time until a machine or piece of equipment was available for me to use that I would prefer to use. And as I said earlier on in the video, I really tried to focus on ab exercises, but this one just never really appealed to me. Deadlifts. I imagine I could do these at a very low weight, but due to the balance issues caused by my multiple sclerosis, I unfortunately have to put deadlifts in the lowermost tier on this list, just because I don't want to kill just because I do not want to hurt myself if I do not have to. And I did do deadlifts before I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and they were fine, but they were never so exciting to me that the fact that I have multiple sclerosis now prevents me from doing them really hurts me. It's like, okay, fine. Russian twists. These are like the suitcases, but not so bad. The only problem with these is that it requires a lot of turning left to right, left to right, left to right, and that also really messes up my balance, but not to the same degree and to the same extent that laying on my back does. But the ab crunch machine, as much as I get frustrated by it, it does not inflame any of those problems, so it kind of caps the Russian twists off and says you can't go any further.
You shall not pass!
Dead hang. This was always one of the most pointless exercises to me. I'm going to put it above the push-ups, and that's only because it never really put me horizontal in any sort of way, and so my balance never really flared its problematic nature when I did it. But there is absolutely nothing exciting about doing a dead hang. I pretty much would rather do every exercise that is north in the list of a dead hang. Okay, seated leg curls machine. I did not like this exercise due to the fact that it didn't really inflame any of my multiple sclerosis induced issues. I'm putting it above the Russian twists and the ab crunches, but below the ab crunch machine. But it's a leg exercise. I hated leg day. There's a reason Bro Science Life always talks about skipping leg day. Leg day is not fun, and especially with me, considering I put swimming at the top. I always swam for an hour after doing my regular exercises, including my leg exercises, which may have been suboptimal, but I hated leg day for that reason because I had to do a lot of kicking when I would swim.
Kicking? Oh, I want to do some kicking!
And then the last exercise I want to do on this tier list is concentration curls, which are a bicep curl exercise. I would probably say I would prefer to do those over bicep curls with a barbell. I prefer them over pretty much any of the minimal shrug muscle movement kinds of exercises. Prefer them over pretty much everything else. I think I prefer them to everything except for swimming, bicep curls that are standing, and pull-ups. And we're not gonna rank the chest press machine again. I don't really see any point in doing that. And you know, I have remarked a lot that I haven't played a lot of video games in a while, and that was mostly due to the fact that I started working out so regularly. I'm gonna drop playing video games into the natty tier. I would much rather play the new play control version of Pikmin, as I picked here, rather than all of the exercises that are south of it. Okay, this video was probably stupid, and who knows, I'll probably regret uploading it because people will probably criticize my own taste in exercises. But exercising has been a very big part of my life for the last couple years. One of my substitute teachers in high school that I would regularly see at the YMCA said, on account of the fact that I have multiple sclerosis and was so diligent in regularly working out, said that I was an inspiration. And my uncle, the brother in the second Godzilla vs. Family story from earlier this year, he would always say in response to her when she would tell him that, well, he's not an inspiration to me, which, to be fair, I always appreciated because he's my uncle, not my best friend. He's supposed to give me a hard time even when I'm not physically present. But I felt compelled to make a exercise tier list video just because it was really fun for me. I have gotten so much enjoyment out of going to the gym on a regular basis and working out. There are so many people who I got to know very well through working out, and that includes, for example, one of the greeting ladies at the first gym that I ever went to, who was actually a model in the past, Miss Riva, whose website / personal blog I will link in the description. I mostly just wanted to bring her up because it has been a long time since I have seen Miss Riva, and I will probably never see her again physically in person. And I just want to say directly to you, Miss Riva, I am so sorry. I read some of your blog. You have my deepest condolences. I lost my own father between the time I saw you last and now. You probably don't even remember me, but I hope everything is going well for you. Miss Riva worked out in the first gym that I went to before she became the desk lady for it, so she knows I've been rather diligent in my pursuit of health through exercise. So I just wanted to bring her up because, like I said, I have not seen her in a while. So that's all I have for today, and make sure to check out the video that comes out on Friday, which will be an episode of Kingdom of Crap, a more Godzilla focused video. That's all I have in the tank for now. Multiple sclerosis really drains you of energy, but hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.
But the best way to work your abs is to not at all.